President Bola Tinubu has asked the Supreme Court to dismiss the appeal filed by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party, challenging his victory in the 2023 presidential election, describing it as abusive in nature. Recall that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has also gone to the Supreme Court, with different claims and all of that. You've been talking about analyzing this issue, over and over again, trying to make people understand and also calling for calm for people, for the court to be allowed to do his job, to do his what's it called, his obligation in this regard. But how are you reading this development? BKO, are you there?
I'm looking at it from both sides and asking myself what could happen. Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Carry on, we can.
Ibrahim. So I'm looking at it from both sides of the coin. This has always been my style, and it helps me a lot. Once you detach your bias from issues, most of the time you'll be accurate in your prognostication of what will happen. But if you are thoroughly biased, you will always not be accurate. Things will happen to show that you lied. So in this matter, the Supreme Court has been approached by Atiku to allow it to file fresh evidence. It is a tough ask to convince the Supreme Court to allow it to file fresh facts that were not introducing exhibits that were not tendered before the lower courts, which is the appeal court. So he has a mountain to climb in that area. And then this matter is also pre-election matter. So that is another uphill task. Atiku should have brought this matter before now. He should have brought it before the Court of Appeal. But even if he brought it, it is not a guarantee that the judges will rule in his favor. It's no guarantee. If you look at what's been happening, a lot of our, even around a lot of the governorship cases, people have accused the winners of forgery and all that, but it's always tough for them to prove. Now, Atiku's people, Atiku's lawyers and their supporters have been saying that the court should accept the deposition by the registrar of the Chicago State University, the 5-hour deposition, in which the registrar actually confirmed that Tinubu graduated in 1979. He confirmed Tinubu's identity by saying that the person who graduated from their school in 1979 is male, is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is today the president of Nigeria. Now, what Atiku's lawyers are holding on to in accusing Tinubu of forgery is the fact that the registrar of CSU prevaricated. He refused to deny or confirm that the certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC was fake or authentic. Look, listen to what he said, which is subject to interpretations. we were not qualified to verify whether this document is authentic, given that it is not in our possession. That's what he said. They had given Tinubu, they had released, they did not have, they no longer have Tinubu's certificate in their custody. He affirmed that by tradition, they do not even keep those diplomas. The Americans call these certificates diplomas. That they do not keep those diplomas. They do not keep duplicate copies of diplomas for students. I don't think there is any university that actually even does. Today, if I go to my university to say they should give me another certificate, they will have to generate another one. No university keeps duplicate copies. So listen to what he said again. We were not qualified to verify whether this document is authentic, even that it is not in our possession. So, which is neither here nor there. It is subject to interpretation. He left the situation hanging. And unfortunately for them, they didn't want to ask him to say yes or no whether that document was fake. But there is nowhere in that the position in which he said, oh, that document is fake. He didn't say that. So it all depends on the way the court will look at it. But the Supreme Court in the past, in the matter of Izunaso versus Uzodima versus Izunaso, actually allowed a lawyer to present fresh evidence, given that he had just 3 days and to look for the evidence, and the 3 days were deemed not sufficient. But whether in this case it will allow Atiku to bring fresh evidence, only time will tell. Because for the Supreme Court to allow you to bring fresh evidence, it has to have the fact that the evidence was not originally there. No? So, can you say that the evidence was not there all along? I think that the evidence was there. It was just the timing. And in any case, you have to prove that indeed forgery has been committed. As I've said in the last few weeks, forgery can only happen when there is alteration on the original document. People compare what Ms. Elma did with this. They do not even understand the meaning of forgery. They are too lazy to even go and check the meaning of forgery. What Ms. Elma did was forgery in the real sense of the word. She gave to herself what she did not score. You cannot say the same of Tinubu, because even the school has confirmed that he graduated with honors. You need to bring the certificate, the original certificate, and bounce it against what Tinubu submitted and show that alteration took place. It is extremely difficult to prove forgery without alteration to a document. So that is what they have to bear in mind. And that is why there is a difference between Ms. Elma's matter and this. Ms. Elma scored a good grade, but awarded herself more marks because she wanted to become the highest in JAMB. Tinubu already secured high honors. You have to prove that Tinubu moved herself from high honors to something greater by altering the certificate and giving himself what he did not score. So you see the difference between the Ms. Elma matter and the Tinubu matter. Many people come on social media to say a lot of things without thinking deeply. There is no correlation between Mesioma's matter and the president's certificate matter. On this one, no alteration is seen to have been done. Because even when Atiku asks the school to confirm the funds and all that, they confirmed that the funds were consistent with the funds of certificates issued after 1979. And where people were saying, oh, how come the name is different? When you ask for them to give you a fresh certificate, it is the current Vice Chancellor and others that will sign, not probably the person who is dead. My own Vice Chancellor at University of London is long dead. So if I ask for a new certificate today, it's not the dead man that will sign it. So asking questions about the fact that I didn't look like the old one is ridiculous. You don't expect the dead to come and sign certificates in Nigeria. Sign certificates, reissued certificate. It's not going to happen. And the school also confirmed that over time, their logo changed, their fonts have changed. So if you ask me, I know how this matter will end. Atiku didn't do due diligence at the appeal court, and that was why they lost. 13 of their witnesses were not even front-loaded. The witness statements were not front-loaded along with the written what was it called, that their lawyer presented before the presidential election petitions court. 13. That was really fatal to the case, because you must present their written statement before the court. So Tinubu is parading 42-page brief of argument, 17 lawyers, 10 of them are sons, so he's ready to argue that he won the election hands down and scored 29% in 29, and scored 25% in 29 states. He also talked about the fact that Atiku's petition was vague, imprecise, nebulous, and full of generic allegations that were not proved. He said that while Atiku claimed that he scored the highest votes in the election, he never presented an alternative result sheet showing what he scored and what the respondent scored. I said out of 27 witnesses that Atiku called, 13 did not have their witness statements front-loaded along with the petition. That is fatal to the case, as I said earlier. So Tinubu's lawyers are also amused that though Atiku has demanded that Tinubu, the president, should be disqualified, Atiku also alternatively wants the court to order a rerun between him and the president. That's a man that you said was not qualified. You cited dual nationality, you cited forged papers and all that. Now you want the court to allow both of you to go for a rerun. Should a man not qualified in the first place be allowed to take part in the rerun? So it's a very interesting matter. We shall see how the courts decide this matter. Hopefully by the 6th of December, we will have come to the end of the contest at the level of Supreme Court. Of course, Peter Obi too is still pursuing the matter, but Peter Obi all along did not declare that he won the election. All he wanted to see was for Tinubu to be disqualified. That's the strategy from the get-go. Even this matter of the CSU, the goal is to have the president disqualified because they know that they do not have enough facts to prove that they won the election.
BKO, it's on this.
It's still the disqualification gambit that they are playing. It's still the same strategy. And once you cannot get through with the matter of having the president disqualified, what is your plan B? There is no plan B at all. There is no concrete evidence placed before the court to show that they won the election.